What's up, you guys? All right, so we traded SPY today, and we had a couple different ideas of where we could have traded. As you know, we don't trade early in the morning, but we could have traded here. Clear signs of bearish movement here, but I decided to wait, and then I ended up actually not wanting to trade. Right, just wasn't. I don't know. I wasn't into it, but then I just started seeing so many things happening in terms of the direction that we could have traded, right? So first, the number one area was here. So this retest of that area right there was key, right? The 374.95, right? So it failed. We dropped down, we held this support right here, then we pushed up to test this area right here. We rejected this area, then we pushed down again, came back up and retested some areas that I never marked up, and then we failed. Then we hit the lows. There's another area of trading. So you got this trade number one, which is puts, but to me, it didn't have enough distance. Like that to me didn't have enough distance, so I didn't take the trade. Then we had this push here. This one, I felt like we was gonna find problems around this area again, so I didn't trade it because it didn't have enough distance for me, right? And then look what happened. Sideways action. Now in here, I actually pulled a contract. I don't remember what it was. I deleted it off of Robinhood and all that stuff. But I pulled a contract, and you know how you can set it in the watch list for, basically it's like kind of like a paper trade, So I got the contract around here. It pushed up, it pushed down, it pushed up, it pushed down. By the time we got here, like the K had tore it up, right? So, but we never hit our stops. My stops would have been down here below the green line, right? But we never hit our stops. Then we push up again. We push hard this time, but still, I knew the 200 was in the way, and it just wasn't enough. So that failed rejection here was another trade I was considering taking if we could pass this on the way down, but I just didn't feel like it, so I didn't take the trade again. Well, what started happening, with all this choppiness, I started looking at the chart overall, and I want to show you guys something. So I saw this trend line that I had already plotted a while ago, that we were rejecting the trend line, like we wasn't gonna fail it. We almost did, but that to me, when price is on the trend line, like my next thing would be, okay, I need a confirmation to the downside or a confirmation to the upside to take a trade. So I went in and I grabbed some July 18th calls, thinking, okay, this would just be a swing trade and we'll call it a day on those. Went on about my day. I continued to watch the market here and there, but I wasn't really sweating it. No stress. There was no stress or anything like that. And I wasn't stressed out about the trade because I knew it was going to do what it was going to do. I had set my stops. I had set my stops for about $50 away, just to see if it would work itself out. And that's exactly what it did, you guys. Even though it was a swing trade, I got out up here. So you see this candle here, when these two candles didn't clear this area here all the way, I got out here. So this is my area of exit, and my entry was 12, I think it was 12:30, something like that. I'll show you on the 4 hour, because that's what I traded off of, the 4 hour. So let me show you on the 4 hour what my entry was. So my entry was above the trend line right here. So around about here. So yeah, just a little, around about 12:45 maybe. Yeah, it's not gonna give me the correct time over here, but like around about 12:45, something like that. I wrote it down on my journal. So let me look. I can pull that up. Let me see if I closed that yet. No. Okay, so we took the trade around 12:37. My bad, 12:37. So we took that trade around about 12:37. We grabbed some 385, 718 calls for 367. And I wanted something that was out of the money because I figured we would come back into the money. So, and we sold at 536. And that one was for a nice little $170 profit. We could have made more, but what I didn't like is what happens every time we run up. And this is based on the 4-hour, right? So let's say we get a run up throughout the day. You see this? And then we slam down after hours, right? And then you would have to wait 4 hours for this, because these are 4-hour candles. So you would have to wait through all this just to get your money back, right? So I said, you know what? And then I saw also a couple more things, like here, it did the same thing here, and I wasn't liking it. I didn't think we had enough strength to get back up here, especially not with the news that's coming out and everything, the economic news and everything. So I just said, you know what? It actually turned into a day trade. I didn't want it because now I lost a day trade, but the profit was okay to me. Again, trying to grow a $1,500 account. So that was perfect for me. But you guys, like, I love how it is to trade the SPY. Like, it's not as confusing as a lot of people make it. As long as you just know your levels, like, everything fits perfectly, you know? All right, so here's like, I'm gonna show you guys something else real quick. And remember, this is the 1 minute chart, right? So here's another entry right here where you get across of these EMAs over the 50. And I'll talk to you guys about these EMAs later when I break down my strategy. But you see that cross here, and then we push up, we come back and retest. Now, during the retest, the 50 is crossing the 200. That's another good time to get in. This would have scared me though. This would have scared me, but again, my stops would have been below that line there. So it would have been tight stops, right? If I was day trading, really, really tight stops. So I would have never hit my stop, and then we could have just rolled the 50 all the way up. I mean, you could have even got in on some of these retests of the 50. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta watch what you're doing and just watch how the market will play itself out. That's why I don't like choppy days. I don't like when my indicators are so close together. I want distance. I want distance to draw back to a indicator. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I went through this. Like, I record every session, and I don't think I'm gonna put those out unless I can get through and chop them up for you guys, so I can show you guys some of those. But yeah, man, this is just what I wanted to talk about, how I actually traded SPY today. And this is how, you know, I want to continue to trade SPY. This is how I like to see it. So days where I'm not happy with it, I'm just not going to trade it. Like, I don't want to sit through all this, you know. And this was last week. I don't want to sit through all this, you know what I mean? Like, I want to get in right here. And if you look, like, it's kind of the same thing. Like, you get the choppiness, and then at the end you get your runs. At the end you get your runs. Like, so just be patient. Like, you don't have to jump out the gate. Yeah, you know, you would have had a good play here. That would have been a good play. How many points was that? That was a 6 point. So yeah, that would have been a good play, and you could have been out, you know, stuff like that. But this play right here, a break of the EMAs was 376, about 4 or 5 points. Yeah, about 4 or 5 points right here. So you could have got it back. But this is what I hate. During pre-market, we run up and then we start just dropping. You know, so say if you would have swung, you would have swung trade this, right? And let's say you would have, even if you would have gotten at the bottom, you would have had to deal with all this all day. All this all day. You would have saw all this. You would have been happy. You know, you probably, once the market closed, you probably would have left, went to work, went to the gym, went hung out with your girl or something. You know, and is that even a gap? I think that might be even a gap. Let me see. Is that a gap? Like, it literally gapped up. And you're like, yes, yeah, we're going to have a good day. We're going to have, no, that doesn't happen with SPY, bro. So, yeah, don't even look for that to happen. So, you got to deal with all this, watching this pre-market. Especially if you get up early like me. Like, you got to watch this pre-market. That's not what I'm trying to do. So I'm thinking, looking for specific exhaustion levels. Like this was a solid exhaustion level, even though we continued to come down. But we kind of knew that because we had this area right here that needed to be tested. You know, key levels 9 times out of 10 are always going to be retested. Just remember that. So mark your charts up. I usually start with a fresh chart every day. Every day. These are the lows. Then you got the highs. The greens are intraday areas that I had concerns with. And you know, we actually ran into some of those problems. Like you see, when price gets fidgety around those areas, you know that you were right in your claim. Like, look, we got a strong rejection here, and then we came right back down and pushed right back up over it. It wasn't that strong, but I still like to have those levels because it's gonna tell me what's gonna be problematic for me overall. So I like having those levels. And then so this ride, I wanted to literally, for those contracts, I wanted to kind of bring them all the way back up here. That would have been a nice trade for me. I would have been happy all the way back up here. So we'll see what it does over the nighttime, and then we'll watch and see what it does in aftermarket and stuff like that. But I'm about to run out and go to UPS and handle my Amazon store business and stuff like that. So, but man, listen, get in there, man. Learn these charts. Keep your eye on these charts. Figure out what works for you, and don't give up. You know what I mean? Don't give up. You know, hold yourself accountable for the faults that you guys make and stuff like that. And just stick with it. Study, man. Study. You should always be studying patterns, what works for you. You know, just really, because this is like, trading the market is life changing. Trading the market is literally life changing. Like, anytime you could take a small bit of money and make it a fortune, you have the ability to do that. So just study the market, man. You know what I mean? And don't give up. Don't give up. I've never given up. And I've made tons of money, but I've lost tons of money too. Right now, what I'm focusing on right now is being consistent. That's what I'm focusing on now. All right. So I'm D, man, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. All right. Peace.